My mom makes one of the best oxtails I've ever had. And after today, you too will be able to make this rich and deliciously satisfying dish, because that's what we're cooking. And you are gonna love it. Let's cook. Oxtail is the culinary term for the tail of cattle. It is used all over the world in preparations like soups and stews. It is very popular in Africa and therefore very popular in countries with a heavy African influence like the Caribbean, the West Indies, and the south of the United States. Cuba has a famous oxtail dish called rabo encendido, which is supposed to be a little bit spicy, and I love it. I lived in Miami for many years. Oxtail has a gelatin-rich meat that is usually cooked over long periods of time at lower heat. But today we're gonna take advantage of the pressure cooker. But don't worry, if you don't have one, we'll teach you how to do it without one. Pressure cooking cuts cooking time. With a pressure cooker, you can cook the same recipe in about 1/3 of the time. This is going to be good. I cannot wait. So first, let's get organized. The French call this mise en place, and all mise en place is having all the ingredients and the tools that you need right in front of you. Cooking is always about ingredients, time, and temperature, and that is why it's so important to pay attention to the temperature and the cooking time. So now we'll prep all the ingredients and put them in what we call the conga line, which is nothing but the order in which you're gonna use them in your recipe. Mise en place is less stress. Let's prep. And now it's time for shout outs. These are the people that are cooking our food, taking pictures and letting us know about it. You should try it one day. Patricia Saher made the bucatini alla matriciana and they looked amazing. Kathy made the chicken steak and the ciocchino. Wow, those pictures. And Roy Maltese made the better than takeout fried rice, which has become a staple for his family. I love it. Guys, keep on cooking and keep on sending us pictures. It really inspires us to do more. All right, so this is the pressure cooker. This is an Instapot. I recommend you get either this brand or something else for maybe $70, $80. Some go up to $150. You don't have to go that expensive because they do a bunch of different things. You just want the pressure cooker, right? Now, the first thing we're gonna do is, look how genius this is. My mom figured out, man, sometimes this thing they get too hot and it burns the meat. We're just gonna create a little bed of celery where we can put all the meat, okay? Very simple, but ingenious, right? And we're gonna put all the meat on top of that bed of celery. Now, this meat was marinated. You need to marinate it for about 30 minutes or so. Now, I am including a link to this seasoning, or the Sazon, we call that, right? Actually, or adobo, some people call it. And this is my mom's recipe, but this is my mother-in-law's. So I'm putting a link for that also. It's all fresh and it's great because we have some of that already. It lasts for literally years. All right. So whenever she comes from the Dominican Republic, she prepares that for us, and we always have some in the fridge. And just 2-3 tablespoons, and boom, done. It's great. I recommend you do it. Okay. All right. So we're gonna put that here. We're gonna add the allspice, 3 tablespoons soy sauce. We're gonna add this Sazon Goya. Again, this is more flavor, right? And this one's gonna give some color too. And a cup of water. Whenever you're using pressure cooker, you don't want to use a lot of water because things that have natural water in them will also release a bunch of it, okay? You hear the so sounds. We're gonna put pressure cook and we're gonna do 45 minutes. That's all you do and you don't need to touch it, okay? So after this is done, we are gonna use the rest of the ingredients and put them in a Dutch oven, right? Or something sturdy that has a lid on it, okay? Okay, so we let all the pressure out. Okay, this is after 45 minutes. Ooh. Maybe you can take a look in here and you see it's got all this juice already. And you can use one knife and just kind of see, man, see how it goes right into the meat. So that's good for the first step. So now we're gonna use a Dutch oven that I think is gonna be enough for that. I don't know if you see what I'm doing here, but just kind of arrange them inside the Dutch oven, kind of just like that. Now, if you don't have a pressure cooker, you're gonna do it just like this, and you may use the same technique of the celery floor so the things don't get burned, and you're gonna do like a medium heat for about 3 times the time, right? So we're talking about, if this was 45 minutes, you're gonna do 2.5 hours or something like that. You can do it in the stove top or in the oven for maybe at around 300 degrees, maybe even 350. But you know, just kind of be mindful that you don't want it to burn the bottom. Some of these tiny ones, they have very little meat, but they add flavor. We're gonna get rid of the celery. Now, you notice that this recipe doesn't have tomato of any kind, tomato paste or anything like that. It's a very different recipe, not the typical recipe that we see out there in most kitchens, or even the Cuban version that has tomato. But I think it's so simple to make and it's delicious. You add all this liquid in there, all the other things. Cup of wine, half a cup of Malta. Malta is a beverage made pretty much like beer, from hops, and it's just non-alcoholic dark beer. That's kind of what it is, okay? And you can find it in most Latin markets and at Publix and Walmart, so it's readily available. Capers and about 10 olives. So we are gonna cook this for about an hour, maybe more. What you're looking for is for all these flavors of this sauce to kind of gel together, right? To become one. And you want also the consistency of the sauce to coat the spoon in the back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover this and we're gonna cook that for about, like I said, an hour and a half. But every 15 minutes or so, we're gonna open it, move them gently so they don't stick to the bottom. And we're gonna do it until you have the sauce of the consistency you're looking for. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes. I've done it twice that I open up the lid, just move them a little bit, and let me show you what it's looking like, okay? And this is what it's doing. You see, the water has been evaporating a little bit, and all you wanna do is just gently move them so they don't get burned, but you can probably tell how soft the meat is already, okay? It's gonna be fall off the bone soft, but you don't want it to disintegrate in the sauce, right? So you just want to be careful for that. All right, so as of this point, cook it another 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna take the lid off and just let it cook like this, just being watchful, kind of move them every 5 minutes or so they don't stick to the bottom and get burned, until the sauce gets thick enough that will coat the spoon. All right, so we'll see you in a little bit. Man, all right, so it's been an hour and a half. Okay, and you need to be towards the end, especially you need to be mindful moving it, and we cooked it uncovered for the last maybe 20 minutes or so. Now come and look, it's been resting for 15 minutes. You want it to rest like that. All right, so you see how it's got some fat there on the top, and you can just grab that and literally get rid of it. You're gonna skim the fat, and you can do this at the beginning as well, or just do this and probably easier wait till the end, because the oxtail is a piece of meat that has a lot of fat too, but all that fat is flavor, and there's a lot of gelatin also. So the mouthfeel of this sauce is incredible. Okay, so now we got this rice here ready to go. So we're just gonna very carefully, because this is literally fall off the bone meat. Got that there, and we're gonna use this spoon, pick up some of this sauce, and you got a few of this olives, and there we go. And it's time for taste test. Man, look at this. Man. We're gonna drink this with a Josh Cabernet Sauvignon that we have used before. Guess what? I went to Walmart and I found this on sale for $11. So I bought 8 bottles, right? Because it's such a good value. This wine tastes delicious, so try it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna use with this. Now, I have a knife, but I don't think I'm gonna need a knife because this is, look at this. This is literally falling off the bone. Look at that. By the way, the recipe to the rice, there's a link to that, as well as a link for the sazon or the adobo. Okay, here we go with some rice too. This is so good. The meat is so soft. It's full of flavor. It's probably that umami flavor from the soy sauce. I don't know, the Malta, all those things together. And the mouth feel of the sauce, like I said, it just coats your whole palate because of the gelatin. This is just amazing. And you know what? You make enough of this and just save it for tomorrow. And tomorrow, it's actually better. This kind of stew usually gets better the next day. Here we go. This deserves a yummy dance. Let's use Tabasco and turn it into a rabo encendido. How about that? With a little bit of Tabasco here. Let's see what that is gonna do. The Cuban rabo encendido is supposed to be a little bit spicy, and I love it. Every time I go to Miami, that's like my favorite thing to eat at a Cuban restaurant. Wow. Let me eat this. Let me try the one. Perfect. How do you get the rice looking round like this? You serve it in one of these, and they then do this deal, and voila, right? It looks great. You put a little something green on top, and then I'm gonna serve some for Sebastian. Joanna's still not here, right? She's actually flying today back to from Dominican Republic. So Sebastian is helping me out with the camera, the sound, and the taste test, right?
All right, I'm excited to try this. It looks amazing. All right, I'm going in. It's so good. It's like creamy.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Okay, that's it.
It just falls right off the bone. It takes no effort.
You don't even need a knife.
A baby could do this. Down the hatch.
Ready to go? All right. Good job, Sebastian. Man, guys, wow. What a meal this is going to be for Sebastian and I later. We are so excited about this. Now, guys, you have to try this, right? Right? As promised me, as always. Now, 4 things. Subscribe, hit like, share with your friends, and
cook it!
Cook it. You have to cook it. Promise me you're gonna cook it. This is so amazing, so different, right? Just make sure you just follow directions, that you have some time to spare. This is a weekend dish. It is hearty, but it's awesome. Now, from here, we're going back to Peru, but not for ceviche. We are going to find lomo saltado. Oh my God, one of my favorite things in the world. Come back and see us.